You can maybe see to get to know that this person is dealing with some kind of distress, and I need to be empathetic with what seems unusual.
Now, before she answers, allow me to just give Mr. Major Opot Jakodondo, who's listening in from Kenya.
Yes.
Right now is probably struggling with sleep.
AKA Baba Awuor.
AKA Baba Joanne Opot.
Yeah.
He's on an island with 6 fish.
Yeah, poleni sana for this unfortunate death. I join the family in this grief. Opot Obuogo from Mfangano Island, Kenya. That's what he said.
Mfangano Island kuna internet huko. Me I thought huko it was just
we have
fish.
internet.
Bro.
Me I thought it was just
internet.
fish.
Bro.
Me that's
We
what I
have
thought.
internet.
Kwani
what
are we?
We have internet.
Omera, what are we?
Leon, unasikia
Now,
we
unasikia
have
marawadhani hapa.
internet.
But now look, if you guys had invited me,
No.
I would have known.
No. We have internet. So
Yeah.
let me tell you. So let me tell you
Yeah.
why we have internet.
Major.
So,
sorry.
we co-founded Africans for Mental Health about 6 years ago. It was more of an ad hoc organization, and then we formalized it. But we studied it as a family, the Opot family, because my sister is actually living with mental illness. She's a patient.
Okay.
So Leo and I completely understand what you're living with as a caregiver. As a sibling, I know exactly what that is. Your mom and my mom could probably share a lot of conversations together, right? So when we co-founded Africans for Mental Health, our mission is to break the stigma of mental illness in the African community. And we do conversations on mental illness bi-weekly on our page. We bring in individuals who are living with mental illness, caregivers.
Okay, and maybe just remind people the page.
Our page is Africans for Mental Health. So we are on Facebook, we're on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. And we do live conversations from here. We also do conversations with mental health professionals back in Kenya, with individuals who are living with mental illness back in Kenya, caregivers. Anywhere in Africa, we have brought them on board and we educate on the simplest term, different types of mental illnesses. And for those of you who are listening, there's nearly 300 types of mental disorders. The ones that you're familiar with are schizophrenia, bipolar depression. There's bipolar. There's 4 types of bipolar.
What about the one I hear called ADHD?
ADHD, OCD, PTSD, depression, anxiety, substance use disorder, meaning alcohol, drugs like opioids, eating disorders like bulimia, anorexia.
So if you eat too much chips, are you considered somebody with?
I mean, it depends, right? You can
me,
binge.
I like chips. I'm not.
It depends.
Chips as in crisps.
But those dietary issues are also considered
French fries.
Yes.
mental.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So psychotic disorders would be bipolar depression, would be schizophrenia, and that's the highest on the marker, right? And then there's the the anxiety disorders like PTSD. And then there's eating disorders like bulimia and anorexia. And dementia is also a mental illness. Alzheimer's is also mental illness. So with nearly yes. Yes. And so you might have a relative back home who's experiencing dementia, and you don't understand that is mental illness. Most cases, individuals who are living with mental illnesses probably have 2 types of mental illnesses, or even 3. They're co-occurring. So someone who has depression might be having anxiety as well, might be having substance use disorder like alcohol. Right? We don't call them alcoholics anymore. So if you see someone drinking so much where they don't even know what's going on, they might be living through with a mental illness that might be diagnosed or undiagnosed. And let me put a caveat here. I am not a mental health professional. I'm a caregiver, and I'm an advocate. And we do this to break the stigma. And we called it the organization's Africans for Mental Health because we are Africans for mental health. And we named it that because we wanted people to understand that you can destigmatize mental illness.
Okay.
and you can work together to do it.
Yeah.
So that's the front end and the
Wow.
personal
Yes.
conversation. And we've been seeing a lot of convergence with the work that we do. We work with African Americans here in the United States. We work with people in the Caribbean. They come on
Interesting.
show and they talk about mental illness. And my dad, who's in Kenya, sometimes even sends his link to his people in the village up in Mfangano.
Mfangano Island with
And
internet.
they
With Wi-Fi.
Yes, and they log
Yeah.
into Zoom. They
Yeah.
log into Zoom,
Mhm.
and they actually participate in the conversation.
That's amazing.
So there are different spaces where we've been doing it. And let me go back a little bit where this actually the bird of actually with the organization and doing a live stream started. It started with the OneMicShow.
Okay. All right.
Right?
Thank you. Thank
Remember,
you.
like when I was a co-anchor here,
So many years ago.
so many years ago.
Then
and
you abandoned
Pala
us.
Matchbox.
No, I did not abandon
Then you
you.
abandoned us.
I
It's okay.
No, I didn't abandon you. I moved on to doing Africans
She-
for Mental Health.
She graduated.
Okay,
She
she
went to Form
graduated.
5.
And
Okay.
we were looking for mental health professionals who look like you and me, and you guys had charged me with that task, and we couldn't find a mental health professional.
Yes.
It
I
was a
remember
challenge.
that.
Remember
yes,
that?
I
Remember how
that.
hard it was?
Not
Yes.
Remember
Yeah.
how that
Find.
was? We couldn't find.